Alright guys, what is up? It's Warbird987 and today I'm going to be showing you how to build this building behind me. I recently came up with this build and I really enjoy how it looks, and so I figured I would do a little build tutorial on it. So firstly, we'll just kind of take a quick look around it. I haven't done much decorating to it. I don't think there's much decorating I want to do. I really like the look of it. Overall, I just think it looks like a good town center almost for if you're making a city or some type of town build. I just think it goes really well with that. And so anyways, we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is lay out a foundation that looks like this. And if you want to go ahead and pause the screen right now, I have all of the blocks on there and the dimensions, so that way you can easily do that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Actually, before we get started, one other thing I'd like to say is there's a list of the materials that you can see on screen now, and that's what I'll be using to build this build, and then later I'll go over a couple different color palettes. So alright, let's just get right into it. Alright, so now that we got the basic layout for it, the shape of it, we're going to start working on each of these front sections right here and right here, as well as this one right here, so before we build up into any of the extra sides. So for this section right here, you're going to want to go 6 total blocks high, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that'll be for this entire L shape right here. So that's it for that section. Next, for this other front section, we're going to want to go 4 high on each of these. Alright, now for these side sections right here, each of these are going to be a total of 5 high, so they'll be one shorter than this. And for this backside here, what we're going to want to start off with is 6 high. Alright, now that we got the basis of this done, we can go ahead and start on the roofing for this first part, which is a pretty easy pattern. Essentially, you're just going to use 2 slabs, because we actually noticed after recording is I shouldn't start here where the block is crossed out. I should actually start here where the arrow's at, and then go 3 forward from there. We want a very slow slope here, so essentially with this, it just becomes 2 slabs wide, and then you're going to do this 4 times, with the 4th one being in the center. So now that we've got that part of the roof done, one important thing to remember when making this roof is to have it overhang from the front a little bit. It gives it a bit more depth, and I just think it looks better than having it be flush with the walls. So essentially just fill that in, and then what you want to do is just go ahead and fill in all these little areas right here. And it's okay, because I know for some of these we're gonna add an extra slab just so that way you don't get that little gap. So just want to avoid that. So that's the little roof for the first section. Alright, so moving on to these side parts right here and here. It's a pretty simple roof style. You can see the picture of it right there on the screen. So it's essentially just going to be 3 stairs up, because that we don't want too steep of slope for this one. We just kind of want it to have a gradual flow up. And we'll also add a slab here for decoration. And once again, so that way you can kind of avoid having that flush. So you just fill these the stripped dark oak logs in as you go as well. And then another thing, so for this one, we aren't going to use any overhang on the side. And there's a reason for that I will get to when I am doing a different part of the roof. So just gonna fill these in quick. Alright, so that's that side done. We can go ahead and go over to this side. Get this one done as well. Pretty simple. So with that section done, I think that we can go ahead and move on to these circular parts on the outside. I'm gonna go ahead and put a picture of that onto the screen from the side. You can see the L shape kind of thing that we're gonna be doing from the side. I think it's easy to remember it like that. So first off, you want to just place the dark oak stairs, all of these facing inwards. And you do the same with this side. And flip it around over here. And then connect all of these, so that way it looks like that. Always make sure to aim it at the one on the left, or the left on that side, right on this side, otherwise it's going to look weird. And it's just going to put the stair right in front of it. I've done that quite a few times. So now moving on to that L shape I was talking about. So here's where you can place one of your temporary blocks, and then you make this little L here, get rid of that dirt, and then you continue the L shape essentially for the entirety of this thing. So it'll be like, it almost looks like there is 3 separate L's that you can make, which I just think looks more natural for how it would progress. So there you go. That's how this one side is gonna look. You can get rid of those temporary blocks, and then we come to the front here, add another temporary block there. You just place all 4 of these, place 2 like that, and then essentially we just continue this pattern of going 2 up. I'll show you what I mean. So in this center part here, we're just going to go 2 up, and we're going to do that a total of 3 times. So one more time. So essentially it looks like this. This is going to be the final row, and then what you're going to want to do here is just kind of fill in these little gaps, just like that. So it just looks good, it looks full. And then we can do the same with this one, add this little slot here. So we'll repeat it on the other side, and then just get to the other parts of it. Alright, so that's the majority of that build. So then what we're going to want to do here is you can use your temporary blocks here. And then essentially what we're going to do is just outline this whole thing with stairs. That way it looks like it would actually be the top of this. So we do this. We can get rid of these dirt blocks. And then on top of these stairs, just add 1 slab. Kind of gives it like the pointed look. So that's, as you can tell, the roof kind of like steeps upwards with that. So then one thing we can do is fill in right here, because what we want to do is we want to leave 1 space above this in order to do the roof how we want it to look on the top part. So we do that. And make sure, so after this 1 gap here, then what you do is you're going to want to add you're just going to want to just put some dark oak stairs here, and this is where you're going to want to have the overhang. This is where the overhang is actually pretty important. You'll see when we get finished with this part, it just looks much better when you have the overhang sitting there. So what we do for this roof is we're gonna go up 2 things of stairs, and after we're done with the stairs, we're gonna use the planks, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So for this one, for the second row, make sure to extend this one further than what this is. That'll be important for when we connect it to the roof of this part that's going to be up here. So then, as we did before, just kind of make sure that we have these things filled in as we go. So then you add in the row of dark planks. Once again, have that go one further. And then continue to fill this in as we go. Add another one of these. Another row of dark oak planks. And then finally, when we get to the top here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish it off with just a thing of stairs. So that should be all you need to do. Alright, so that's how to do this for the front part of that. When you're coming down and doing this on the other side, as you'll see in just a second, you essentially just repeat this pattern. You just take this and do it over to that side, so I'll just go ahead and jump right into that since we already have this here, and then we'll come back after the quick time lapse of that. Alright, so as you can see, we've just mirrored this side down this way and added the little slab down there to have a little bit of overhang. So now I'll go ahead and I'll fill in the roof on the other side. So, as you can see, we've mirrored the roof from that side to this side, and now we can go ahead and begin to fill in this section right here. Alright, so for the next step, you can see that there's this massive gap here that's in the center of it. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take the strip dark oak wood, and we're going to want to build all of the walls up originally to this height. So we can... The reason for that will be for the front roof, as you'll be able to see. So we'll just go ahead and get right into building all of these around this entire thing up to this height. So gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that we have that done, we can now go to building this actual roof, which it's fairly simple. What it's going to be, you'll see it on the screen right now. Essentially, it's going to be stairway, followed by 5 plank levels, and then the 6th plank level will meet in the middle, and it will be exactly with this. So essentially, so this is what you're gonna want to do. So we go stair, and the next one we want to go plank. And basically, we repeat this pattern for a little bit. Alright, so as I said, as you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one meets directly up with this bottom part, so that way those are even. It helps with the symmetry of the build overall. And then another thing for this half, you are going to want to have an overhang here, because otherwise this would look really uneven and it just wouldn't look natural. It wouldn't look how you would expect a roof to look in real life. So as you can see, we got the plank roofs, followed by the stairs at the end. So now I'm going to go ahead and mirror this to the other side. Alright, so as you can see, that front section's done. We got that front roof part. Now what we want to start working on is the base for the tower along the top. So what we're going to want to ensure is that there are 10 total spaces in between here, so that way we can make it an even square. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Okay, so then from this corner, what you're going to want to do is take your dark oak wood and then build it up 1, 2, 3 high. So you're going to want to do this in all 4 of these corners. So you want it to be a platform, so square platform. So what you're going to want to do is it's going to stick out in the back a little bit further, as you can see with that build over there. But it's also possible, if you would like to build a similar roof to this. However, I think that to make sure that the platform is square and looks more natural with the way that the building goes, I think it's just easier to keep it a square. So here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then we go same from over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We connect these sides. So then we just want to fill in the holes here, so that way you want to make sure that there's no light coming through, obviously, because otherwise that would look pretty bad and that would just kind of take away from the overall look of the build. So you fill in these cracks right here. So then what's important is what you're going to want to do for this part is you want to leave this. You don't want this completely closed, because otherwise you won't be able to access this. So what we want to do is basically make a small circle inside of this. So we go over 1, 2, 3, because that'll put us in the center. Then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we use a temporary block, and then we just basically repeat this around all 4 of the corners. That'll allow us to have like a circular shape that we can actually build into the tower. So now that we have finished this, right now, we can get rid of those temporary blocks. And then one thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to fill in these little holes here. obviously do not want to have those in there. That would just look strange. And so the next thing you're going to want to do is bring all of these up 5 high. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just do this for the entirety of this upper part. So gonna go on ahead and cut to that. Alright, so as you can see, we got the base of the tower done, and now we're going to want to do a similar thing that we did for this section down here for the roof with this base level right here. So what we're going to want to do is place stairs facing inwards towards the circle, because that way when we connect all of them, it will give it a nice outline for the tower, and it'll look a little bit more natural than having like something strange there. So then we can go ahead and fill in these corners. Let us just do that real quick. Alright, so then you have it there. Then one thing you're going to want to do, just kind of add some slabs in along this. Give it a little bit more depth. I don't like to have it connected too much. I like this diagonal right here. I think that looks cleaner to me. I don't know, maybe if you prefer to fill that in with slabs, then that could also work. It really just depends on how you feel about your build, what you want to look for, but I like this kind of built up like that. It's just what I prefer. So we just continue doing this, do it all the way around. Nothing too hard at this point. Essentially, it's just been a lot of repeating the same steps. So, get rid of that. Then, eventually, we'll be done with this. So, alright, so we get our last thing of slabs. I guess not yet. Got one more. Alright. So we've got that all around the base of the tower. Next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to repeat this pattern that we see down here, where we have the 4 along the base, then 2 up. So doing that, we can move it like this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, oh, 1, 2. And then basically just make sure you got it done on all the sides. So actually it'd probably be easier to put right here. That way we can get the rest of the sides. So let's see. After this, you're just going to want to kind of come up the same way that we came up on the angles before, where we just put a block right above this. And so now that we have one of these, we want to do one more of this pattern. So essentially we want 2 more right here, as you'll see in just a second. Alright, so then it's looking like this. Basically, I just think that looks good for the tower. You could potentially add something right here as well if you want, but I like the way that curves on it. So then what you're going to do, you're going to want to place 4 temporary blocks here, and then using the dark oak stairs, just do this to kind of make it look like it comes to a point. Oops, that does not look like it. So, there you go. That's how we have the tower done. So, obviously, so the next step is essentially we're just going to fill in this section. So we want to come down to where the roof's at over here, and then we can just add in the rest of these roofs. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to that, so that way you guys can just see how it looks filling that in. So I think what looks good here is light gray stained glass. And essentially just going to want to add in some windows. So first one we want to do right here. Go 3 high. Oh man, it's pretty dark in there. Just repeat that on this side. And then for this window, what I like to do is just kind of have another 3 high, just 2x3s. I think it looks good that way. And then add in dark oak slabs for a little bit of decoration. It just adds a little bit extra to it so it doesn't look so bare. So repeat that on this side. Oops, didn't even see that. So as you can see, just pretty simple stuff, nothing too much. And then what I like to do here is I like to add just another slab here and then build these up with the stone brick stairs. I just think it looks kind of cool. So the next thing you want to do is add some windows right here. So what we do is we will go 3 over, so 1, 2, 3, and then you go 3 up. So we have it look like this. This one we're gonna do the stair, slab, stair. And then if we go over here, what we want to do in the middle one is we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, another 4 up, and then we're going to come up right there in the middle. Essentially just cutting big chunks out of it, so that way, you know, we can let a little bit of light in since it's kind of dark in there. So before I decorate that one, we'll do this one again. So 1, 2, 3, up, 3, take out that one. Okay. So now we can just add in the decoration again with the stairs and the slabs. Alright, so there's a majority of the windows for the front completed. I think that makes it look good. So for these side parts, what you're going to want to do is this first column of each of these, take away 4 starting from the bottom, and then just fill those up with glass. And then for this one, we're gonna cut out a similar pattern to what we had on the front of the building, where we get the 3 high, but we're gonna make it 4 wide this time. So we do it like this. Just kind of adds a little bit extra. I like that look, and just when I was making it, that was kind of what I ended up deciding on. I just thought it looked pretty cool. So then what you can do, you can go ahead and on these ones right here, basically we're gonna want a little bit bigger window here, since you know we got a lot of stuff to work with on this side. So what you can do, just go ahead, knock out at least 4. Just pretty plain window, nothing too much here. At least for this aspect. So then what we want to do is with this, place this window here, or no, this window here, this window here. We use these slabs. And this is what I like to do here. Oops. So then you're going to want to get dark oak fencing. Just kind of add this on this side. It's not a lot of decoration, but it's just that little extra bit that helps it out. So going ahead and repeating this on this side, just a little 4x3. Fill her in. Add in a little bit of decoration. Add in slabs, fences. So now I'm just going to repeat the process for the glass on this side just quickly. So since we finished the ones all along the side, we can move up to the ones on the tower. And what we're going to want to do here is just another little 2x3. I think that just looks good for it. And we just add, once again, oops, we add the slabs just there and there. And then we can take out 3 of these. And I'm just going to repeat this around the entirety of tower. That way we can make it so it looks even, it looks symmetrical. Alright, so there you can see we got the tower done. Now one thing that I like to do here is add in these lanterns just right here, here, and then on both sides of this one. And then I like it over here and here. Essentially just want to frame these parts of it, so we can repeat it over here quick. So then from the front we got it looking like this. I really like the look of it. I just think it looks really cool. Of course you could add, if you wanted to, you could add in more decoration for the windows up top, or even these ones on the side. Okay, so then what you're going to want to do from earlier in the video when I referenced that I had deleted one of the sections, you can see the outline of it here on the ground, and that is why I didn't include it within the actual how-to part. Since I deleted it, I just skipped right to this part and didn't include where I actually made it. The back side, you see this gap here. What you want to do is just fill in the roofs here, so pretty simple. And then with that, this kind of looks a little bit empty with this here. So one of the things that I like to do for this part is just add in another one of these windows. I think that you add in one up here, you add in one up there. It just kind of opens it up a little bit more. So just going ahead with that, we can just go 4 in from the side. Add on the decorations. What you can do here, for this one you can add in a bit bigger window since this is a pretty big face. So what you're going to want to do, I want to go at least 4 up, 6 over, and then we will just gradually have it come in here. Up like that. So that way it opens it up more, because otherwise you're just looking at a giant side of the bark, and it's not really, not very aesthetic. So we add these in. See how that opens up the build a little bit more. So then what we want to do, we're going to want to go ahead and do a similar style to what we have on the front, where it's just stair, stair. Because even though these ones on the back are a bit more detailed, you don't want this to completely go away from the front. So the front style is just the basic outline like that. And then since the back there's usually less going on, we'll leave it like that for this top one. And actually, I think that one way to kind of add in for this one, I would like to add 2 more slabs right here. So then you just kind of have it be a little bit more open. It's not just one giant block that looks strange. And so then you can add in decorations wherever you want. So that's basically how to do the framework for this. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And then one such idea, so I don't really like doing too much decorating on a build like this. One thing I just did with the original one is I had just added bushes around the front. I think that makes it look pretty nice. I think it makes it look a little bit fancier. So another couple of things you can do too, you can add different colors to it. So one of the palettes is this one right here, which is kind of like an old school town hall type build with spruce, granite, polished granite, bricks, and then the stone bricks. I think that I really like that build. It depends on what your aesthetic is that you're going for. And then another one that I think is actually really cool looking is this one. This almost looks like it's a nether type base. So what you do is you use the blue planks, you use the basic prismarine, and then you use the 2 different types of basalt. And I added in some acacia wood too because I thought that looked good. Essentially, I tested the color palettes over here, as you can see, and that one just is what I ended up going with. I thought that looked the best. I think this looks really cool. I definitely think this could be a cool like nether hub style base. So anyways, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing. And if you've got any comments or suggestions, please leave them below, and I would be glad to hear them and hopefully have some type of discussion. So thank you for tuning in, and Warbird out.